Welcome to the Vol Bros presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And we are proud representatives of the University of Tennessee on the Believe Entertainment Network. Very proud to be part of that network. But this is a special evening because this is episode number 250 of the Vol Bros. And ironically, it comes on Georgia Game Week, which our very first episode ever was Georgia Game Week 2022, when Hendon Hooker and the number one ranked Vols that week went to Georgia, a number one versus number one matchup. So, unfortunately, hopefully this week turns out different than that one. But we are very excited to have our 250th episode. And I was searching, thinking of a way we could make this a special evening. And it didn't take long because immediately I thought, let's see if Reed can join us for that one. And we are so appreciative and so excited to have the man himself, Mr. Reed Carringer, with us. Reed, welcome.
Gentlemen, it's an honor to be here, celebrating your 250th show. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, guys.
I appreciate that very much. We, as everybody knows, we always do three things. So we're going to do those three things tonight. We're going to give our general thoughts about, what we saw yesterday against ETSU. We're going to name a player of the game and name a play of the game. But since we've got Reed on here tonight, we're also going to get his thoughts about this upcoming weekend, which now has become even a bigger weekend with game day being there. And, Tennessee jumped all the way up 7 spots which shocked me, honestly, that they beat ETSU and they jumped 7 spots in the AP poll. And so now you've got number 15 Tennessee going against number 6 Georgia this weekend. So it's going to be a big show. It's going to be a fun show. We obviously want to hear from you guys as well. We've already had a whole bunch of comments come through. That's what I'm talking about. So hey, Backflip Spaghetti, thank you so much. $10 super chat. That's a channel member. He's already given his prediction. He's saying 28-17 Tennessee, the Big Orange over Georgia. That's what I'm talking about. That would be awesome. So with that being said, Reed, we'll start with you. What did you think about what you saw yesterday?
Well, shout out, as always, to Tennessee fans for showing up. Rainy weather, kind of unpredictable weather. Another sellout against, a buy-in game opponent to kick off the year. Let's take my daughter. That was a blast. She loves going. I think she's 6. She's been to a game, I think, 4 straight years. So started going when she was 2. Awesome. Following in my footsteps there a little bit. And so that was a blast, but really cool to see the stadium full. Awesome to see some of the concourse changes there. I sit in the south end zone.
You saw a lot of changes in that concourse then.
Yeah, that was cool. So, but I think just being back on campus after that Syracuse win, and I think there was a lot of enthusiasm for an ETSU game. So I can't really imagine what it's going to be like against Georgia this coming weekend, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here in a little bit, guys. But again, I think we talked a lot before the season. I thought Tennessee might be a little rusty to start the year, and they've looked anything but. And that continued again Saturday as far as on the offensive side of the ball. So that stood out to me again. Vols pushing the ball to the boundary. Vols pushing the ball downfield like they haven't done since 2022. Adding those elements back to their offense, adding the tempo back to their offense, just looked like a different product than we've seen the last 2 years, guys, on the offensive side for sure. So that was the biggest thing. I know it's ETSU, but the fundamentals of the offense, even if you're just doing routes versus air, look way different than they've looked the last 2 seasons. And so that was the biggest takeaway for me. You think maybe they catch lightning in a bottle against Syracuse, look just like it again against ETSU, and put up the most points in modern Vol football history. So no complaints, no notes. Good performance. Didn't play with their food. Took care of business. A good Saturday.
They didn't play down to their competition at all, which is a welcome change, right?
Correct.
Clemson fans, I'm sure, wish they could be saying that today. instead of being down 17-0 to Troy at one point yesterday. I'm sure they would love to be able to say that they didn't play down at the level of their competition. That's a fantastic point. Rustin, what about you? What did you see yesterday, and your general thoughts about what you saw? You're muted.
Sorry, I don't know why that happened. I saw a ton of depth. I saw a lot of guys that I was not anticipating being contributors this year, that after watching them live, I went, yeah, that guy can help. There were a lot of players that got really good reps, meaningful reps. You throw for almost 300 yards in the first half, and that allows you to get all three quarterbacks meaningful snaps. All three quarterbacks got to run the full offense, which was I love to see. I don't agree with the whole, okay, we're up by 50, we're going to hand it off every time and let our running backs get demolished. The fact that they just kept running the offense, and George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger did a pretty good job running it. They showed that they've got some ability there. We said the other night we wanted to see the defense set the tone early, and they absolutely did that. The edges played outstanding. That was the position group that I was most interested in watching. All of the edges combined for 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and 2 quarterback hurries. That's a really good production from that part of that room. And, it limited what ETSU could do. They had to just kind of try to create things, and nothing was working.
Carl, appreciate you, man. Carl just gave a $10 super chat. He said Vols by 50 beat Georgia. Georgia. Thank you, Carl. You're the man. Appreciate that. My general thoughts about what I saw yesterday. Thursday night, I said I wanted to see 2 things. Number one, I didn't want to see any injuries. No injuries. I think we did that. I'm concerned about Sam Pendleton. I'm hoping he just left the game because they didn't need him anymore. But I don't think he played after the first quarter. So I'm hoping he's okay. They wouldn't say anything about it if he wasn't.
I think he came back in I'm pretty sure he came back in for Merck's first series, and then came out again after that.
He I don't know for sure, but I was talking to some other media guys today, and they didn't have him on their list of people they were worried about for Saturday.
Good.
So
that's very good.
I'm hopeful that they just did like I said, didn't need him. Got some other guys reps, and I think he did get back in. I was looking at the participation report a second ago, but I don't think he's an injury concern, but we'll find out here in a day or two. So sorry.
That's good. Yeah. So I said I didn't want to see any injuries. I also said I wanted to see Joey Aguilar play the first half, Merklinger play the third quarter, and McIntyre play the fourth quarter. And we almost saw that. Little did we know we would get a Mason Phillips sighting. That was pretty cool. And I absolutely loved, it cracked me up that Mason, when he got in, he was like, I'm not handing the ball off. He kept it on both plays. The first play, they let him throw it. And the next 2 plays, he was like, yeah, I'm keeping these. Now, what was interesting was that very last play that he kept it and ended up, running out of bounds. If he had handed the ball off to Baker, that would have been another touchdown. Because he came through the line and it was just him and a safety, and that was it. And he would have been off to the races. So I really wish, as much as Mason wanted to hold on to that ball, I really wish he had handed it off to Baker, because instead of 72 points, I think we'd have been talking about 79 points. That would have been pretty sweet too. But, Reed made a really good point. He said, they scored the most points in the history of the program in one game. Now, you stop and consider that. This is a top 10 all-time winningest program in the country. Anytime you score the most points your team has ever scored in a game, and you've won more games than 90-something% of the rest of the country. That means you put something on a show there. I mean, like that was a heck of a game, and this sure was. 500th win inside Neyland Stadium, just a really huge day. So love to see that. In addition, I don't know how anybody cannot be excited about two things after watching that game. Number one, the running back room. I mean, it's a smorgasbord of physicality. And it's Joe Tessitore. I need to send that to him. He'd like that, a smorgasbord of physicality. He'd use that in calling a game. But so, you're looking at this, and Baker and Morris come in and essentially play the last quarter and a half. I think all of All Nation has to be extremely excited about what they saw out of Baker and Morris. I mean, those two dudes, they were fantastic. I mean, I loved what they did with the ball in their hands. The only, negative thing that you could say is we had a few drop balls. Joey, for the most part, was extremely accurate. Deshaun, he dropped two for sure that should have been caught in the first quarter. But overall, Joey was extremely accurate. And Reed, to your point, you were talking about, we're seeing shades of 2022 and how versatile they're being in their offense and play calling and what they're feeling comfortable and confident in their quarterback to be able to do. Y'all, they lined up in the pistol yesterday. they ran a play out of the pistol at one point yesterday. I mean, have we ever seen that? I mean, maybe like one time in Heupel's era have we seen a pistol formation. So it's been a lot of fun to see all the different things they've done. Van Dorselaer gets his first touchdown ever as a Vol yesterday. Morris gets his first touchdown ever as a Vol. Hello, Redarius Jackson and Travis Smith Jr. But that catch that I'm giving away a little bit of future show here info, but the honorable mention play of the game was Redarius Jackson's catch over the middle of the field in the fourth quarter. Holy cow. I mean, dude was like, I don't care what happens to me. He just went up and got it. And I mean, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That dude, he put himself on the map yesterday too. And then the last thing that I took away from yesterday was, for all the off-field issues he's had over this offseason, Boo Carter is electric with the ball in his hands. I don't know if y'all remember it or not, but I think it was 2015, which is crazy that this was that long ago. Maybe 2016. Cam Sutton returning a punt against Vanderbilt in Neyland, going the exact same direction that Boo Carter was going when this happened. And in the middle of the field, Cam Sutton made this cut to the right that looked like a video game move and broke probably 3 different people's ankles when he did it. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Ended up taking it to the house. Boo Carter had a very similar looking move in the middle of the field yesterday. And I know that he probably got roasted by his coaches for when he essentially came to a complete stop on that one return to make the guy miss. But there's no denying that dude is electric with the ball in his hands. And I think that's an advantage Tennessee come this Saturday when Georgia comes to town. I'm going to go through the comments and we'll see what everybody's had to say so far. There's been a whole bunch of them. Backflips Getty said he got the South Florida game correct. Yeah, I think there were only 4 people on the Pick'em Challenge who picked that one correct. Not many folks, just a few. Carl, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. Said Go Big Orange. Mississippi all said good evening, Vol Bros. Big week coming up. Absolutely. Huge opportunity. Totally agree. Mina Lackey's with us. There's a channel member. Good to see you, Mina Lackey. Mississippi Vol said there was one thing Joey did yesterday that impressed me. He was getting pressured from behind and fixing to take a sack. At the last second, he threw it out to the flat. We got about 8.5 yards. Absolutely.
Hasn't taken a sack this year, right? Has not been sacked.
Absolutely. That's a good stat to not have a tally mark in that column.
Right. I think he threw it over to Brazel on the sideline, if I'm remembering right. And I didn't see. I thought he was just throwing it away. I didn't see the receiver there at all. Hit him right in the hands and picked up first down, I believe.
That's what I'm talking about. Mississippi Vol said, hit that like and subscribe button. I think that's excellent advice. I think that is fantastic advice. Hey, we're only 49 people away from 2,000 subscribers, so that's exciting. We would love it if you would be one of those people. Let's see here. Rebel Jew, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, good evening. Vols win. Now time to focus on Georgia and winning. Absolutely. Audrey's with us. Welcome, Audrey. Good to have you. There's a channel member, watch party fan member. Let's see here. Rhonda, there's a channel member. She said, good evening, bros. Congratulations, bros, on this milestone. Hey, we appreciate that very much. You're a big part of it, Rhonda. We appreciate you joining us every time. Same thing with you, Mina Lackey. We appreciate y'all joining us all every time. Nolan, you too, buddy. Welcome. There's a channel member. He said, I'm ready to whoop the dogs. Absolutely. Let's see. Andrew, welcome, buddy. He said, congrats, 250, bros. Appreciate that. Slim said, good old Rocky Top. Absolutely. Let's see. Mississippi Vol said, congrats on that 250th. I appreciate that so much, man. Let's see here. Mina Lackey's excited to see Reed. We are too. We always love it when Reed's on here with us. We are very fortunate that he's so generous with his time with us. Rebel Juice said, so who wants to bet on which head coach is fired first, Napier or DeBoer? That actually is an interesting question. We may come back to that later if we have time. Jared. Jared, welcome, buddy. We're glad you're here, man. He said, are the Vol Bros in the running for game day guest pickers? Hey, man, the power of social media, I'm just saying, like, if everybody were to get on Twitter, it could happen. Like, it could happen. You never know. Peyton Manning, the Vol Bros, I don't know. Let's see here. Nolan said, shout out to Cedric Tillman and Dylan Sampson. Hey, absolutely. Saw Cedric's touchdown this afternoon. Let's see. Rebel G said, really don't understand how Penn State is ranked number 2, let alone top 12. Let's see. Mr. Osborne. Hey, here is the clubhouse leader in the Pick'em Challenge. He went 9-1 yesterday. The only game he missed was the South Florida game. That's it. He correctly predicted the Mississippi State upset over Arizona State. Well done, Mr. Osborne. Well done. He said, good evening, Vol Bros. Congrats on episode 250, the best Vol Sportscast, period. Hey, I appreciate that so much. That's very kind.
That's an impressive pick there. Impressive pick.
I agree.
Going out on the limb for Mississippi State, who have it feels like they've not won a game of consequence in a decade almost. Yeah. Down there in Starkville. So nice. Well done. Well done.
So he's 16-4 after 2 weeks.
Wow.
On picks. That's pretty good. He said also, hello, Reed and chat family members. Go Big Orange and go ETSU. ETSU alum with us right here. So it was a win-win situation for Mr. Osborne yesterday. Let's see. God Guns and Ammo said, what's up, everybody? Good to have you with us, man. Let's see. Papa J, welcome, buddy. He said, I hope we win this weekend. I've had so many people here in Georgia tell me to take off my Tennessee garb. Ain't going to happen. Go Big Orange. That's what I'm talking about. That's fantastic. Let's see. Oreo Puppy Dog said Golish whoop the Gators. I'm sure him and Josh will compare notes 100%. That's a very good point. Let's see. Hey, Brendan's excited to see Reed. Welcome, Brendan. Good to have you, buddy. Oreo Puppy Dog said, love the 53-yard field goal. Might come in handy. No kidding. Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that they played it like a real football game, to your point earlier there.
Yeah.
Evan, they were playing it like it was 0-0 really the whole time, which I think is what you should do when you're paying a team to come into your home stadium and get those reps and get meaningful reps, because you never know who's going to get hurt either. We could see Merck or Mac or any of the backup running backs. We got the 3-headed monster out there right now, but somebody could get hurt. I like the game plan and them just run their offense like they would normally. And yeah, everyone that's saying hi in the chat, just thank you. Always good to be here with the guys. It's one of my favorite weekend activities. So enjoy being here, and a lot of that's because of the following that you all built, and that's you all out there watching and subscribing. So always an honor to be here. So thanks again.
The best chat group on the interwebs right here. This is it. They're awesome. Let's see here. Some of the other comments coming through. Backfield Spaghetti said there were no scary drop-offs in the second half with the 2s and the 3s. That's a good point. Very good point. Rebel Juice said if the Vols beat Georgia, they're probably in the SEC championship game against LSU or Texas. Well, there's still a whole lot of season to play. A lot can happen, but they're definitely in the driver's seat at that point. No doubt. Let's see. Jonathan said, don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. I totally agree. Text a buddy. Let them know. We're close to 2,000 subscribers. Jonathan, we're glad you're with us, man. He said, I'm glad we took care of business like we should have and didn't pick up any injuries. Absolutely. They did what they were supposed to do. And you know, guys, and listen, Reed knows this better than anybody covering the Vols when he did. It's a nice thing to be able to say they did what they were supposed to do. Because there were many times in the Butch Jones era when they did not do what they were supposed to do.
Well, even, you think about 2 years ago, Austin Peay comes in here, takes Tennessee to deep into the fourth quarter when the game was in doubt. I took my daughter to that one, and it got so contentious that I thought, I probably should not let her hear all these words people are saying. Just screaming at the team, so I had to leave. I really did know Tennessee was going to win that game, but it was not for sure at the time. And I know that's kind of that football program's in a different spot than ETSU, but no complaints at all. You feel like Tennessee's really clicking on all cylinders headed into what was going to be the biggest game of the year either way, right, for Tennessee. The only team to beat Tennessee and Neyland the last 3 years. So you got to feel good about Tennessee. Hasn't shown you anything to think, I'm kind of worried about this, other than maybe defensive line depth and Ricky Gibson going out. Other than injuries, as far as scheme and talent on the field, no qualms so far.
Well, and so that's a good – man, Reed, you're the master of transitions. That was a perfect transition because you just said injuries. And Sam asked a question about David Sanders. My understanding is David Sanders is playing this weekend.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
He could have played yesterday. The medical staff just decided to be precautious. Heupel, they asked Heupel about it after the game, and he was clearly kind of surprised that Sanders got held out and said it was completely a medical staff decision, and they just said, okay.
I would have – that's one of the things that maybe I would have liked to have seen, guys, and chat here is him get some reps there against not Georgia. So
Amen.
Not the team that has multiple first-round defensive line picks every year, it seems like. But
welcome to college, right?
I think Tennessee does a pretty good job of rotating linemen on both sides of the ball. So I think they'll kind of try to ease them in if they feel like they need to. They'll know better than we do if they feel like they need to. But I definitely want to see him out there. That's the only thing other than Gibson wrecking his shoulder. The only thing really so far through 2 games that I would have liked to have seen that I haven't seen so far was Sanders get some reps against Syracuse and ETSU.
Yeah, not having Ricky Gibson is going to be probably more evident this weekend than, well, definitely more evident this weekend than up until this point.
I don't have the snap count, but it did seem like just being there that Boo played a lot more than he did against Syracuse, not just in the punt return game, but in the secondary. It seemed like they're kind of preparing to roll with that, the secondary that they had rolled out against ETSU for Georgia. So,
and thank goodness Ty Redmond is playing so well.
And the Colton Hood is better than advertised.
Amen. Yeah. Absolutely. Rebel Juice said, "Isn't somebody in the comments owed a hoodie for saying the Vols put up 70 and Evan is supposed to sing?" So yes, I am supposed to sing, but the hoodie, there was other parts of that as well. It was predicted on Thursday night by I Bleed Orange, who was in the comments. He said Joey Aguilar would throw for 500 yards. And I said, there's no way. And I said, and then also they'd score 70 points and stuff like that. But I said, if he throws for 500 yards and in a half, essentially, if he throws for 500 yards, I was like, you can have your choice of a hoodie. He did not throw for 500 yards. But I am supposed to sing. That is true. Let's see. Audrey said, last week Sanders made a decision to sit out. He had been cleared by medical staff. I presume it was the same for this past week. They certainly didn't need him.
So I don't know how accurate that is or who's lying, but that's not what Josh Heupel said after the game. And I saw that comment coming, so I went and found the quote. He was asked about David Sanders specifically after the game, and this is a direct quote. "Dave, we anticipated him being ready. Ultimately, medical decided for him and for us probably wasn't the best move to play him today, and that's why they made the decision that they did." So he fully put it on the medical staff. So if
that could
David Sanders has, who knows? If David Sanders has been cleared, then why isn't he out there? That's a direct quote after ETSU.
Sam said, just my opinion, but I feel more confidence in the O-line to show up against Georgia than any year previously. It's certainly Tennessee's best opportunity to beat Georgia since Heupel has been the coach. This is probably the weakest Georgia team, which is saying a lot, really. But it's probably the weakest Georgia team that they have faced since Heupel took over.
It's like the combination of, I think, NIL evening out some rosters over time, and also Tennessee's Heupel being here for a while now and recruiting better, and Tennessee's roster. Yeah. It's pretty clear to the naked eye. I know it's Syracuse and ETSU, but Tennessee just looks more athletic all over the field than they've looked under Heupel to me so far.
Amen.
That's kind of the biggest takeaway I've, other than Aguilar looking like a world beater. The biggest takeaway I've had is the whole team just looks more athletic at really every position. I feel like this year than they looked even in 2022 or last year when they made the playoffs. So just from the Tennessee side alone, I feel like Tennessee has a better shot, but you're right about Georgia. They're down from where they have been traditionally under Kirby. And Tennessee was in that game last year in Athens as well. So played in the game. So you gotta bookmark that as well.
Audrey said, you really can't roll Sanders out there against Georgia for his very first game. Doesn't make sense at all. I definitely don't think he starts for sure. I don't think you can't start him on Saturday. Get him out there, get him some playing time a little bit. But I think Jesse Perry, we'll see him for sure. And Austin, welcome, Austin, brand new channel member. We appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you joining us. Let's see. Wow, there's a whole bunch of comments, so I'm just going to start going super fast through them. Let's see here. John Watts, welcome, buddy. There's a channel member. He said Morris was very impressive with his moves. Yeah, that jump cut he had to the left outside on this touchdown, that was pretty sweet. His patience, too. He was very patient as a runner. Austin said, I think 41 first downs was a record as well. That's an insane number. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. John said, I wish David Sanders would have been able to play. If he plays against Georgia, it's not ideal for his first snaps to be against Georgia. Yeah, I agree. Carl said no sacks and no interceptions. Amen, brother. With 4 different quarterbacks, no interceptions. How about that?
It's almost like Heupel and his staff know how to coach an offense. I don't know.
And Tennessee fans have been loving the resounding success Nico has had on the West Coast so far this season. James, welcome, buddy. He said, what are your thoughts on the line for the Georgia game at 7.5?
coming down,
Makes-
I believe. Also, I think it's been coming down. Right. It looks like Vegas and the analytics are split on what that game's going to look like. If you see Vegas has Georgia, they're trying to get people to bet. It looks like they're 7.5. They're trying to get people to take Tennessee, get that line down. But analytics have it kind of a toss up if you look at a lot of the models out there. So, if you're a gambling person, maybe Tennessee's the good bet. But that's what the lowest the Georgia line has been for the Tennessee game since when? I don't remember it being a touchdown or less in a long time.
Like 10 years. A good long while.
I watched Georgia Saturday, and I watched about half their game last Saturday. I haven't seen a team yet that's 7 points better. They could be holding out. They could be, hiding things to save for this game, but they've been pretty underwhelming.
Of the 16 quarterbacks that have qualified in the SEC thus far, played 2 games, Gunnar Stockton is 14th in QB rating. Now,
and I think our running back room is better. Like when I watch their guys carry the ball, it's not explosive. Like they're good and they run hard, but they're not gonna burst one.
worried about Branch, and that's maybe it as far as playmakers. Yeah,
For sure.
Saturday, not as worried about Stockton as I have been about other Georgia quarterbacks. Not as worried about running backs or tight ends as I have been previously.
Yeah.
There's no Brock Bowers over there anymore.
Right. A lot of reasons to be hopeful if you're an orange and white fan Saturday.
Absolutely. David said, fun fact, yesterday we had 13 players get a reception. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda said she's confident, Joey's going to, without a doubt, give 150%. He has embraced Tennessee. She's exactly right. Audrey said she was one of the people who picked South Florida. That's what I'm talking about, Audrey. Well played.
Ball knower.
Rebel Juice said, people saying it feels like 2022. I think it feels like 2016. There you go, baby. Let's see. John said it was awesome seeing so many players get on the field. Mr. Osborne said his sincere best wishes to everybody watching right now. Let's see. Jeff said, welcome, Jeff. Good to have you. Said, I know what I've been preaching all along, but Saturday will really start to tell us where we are really at. Yeah. So Jeff has been very high on Tennessee, and he's right. This is the week where we're going to find out a whole lot.
Georgia has never beaten Tennessee 9 straight times in football. Just throwing that out there, boys. That's it.
That's the stat of the night right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Never. Tennessee has the longest win streak in the rivalry thus far at 89 to 1999 with 9 straight. Georgia's not. This would be 9 straight if they can pull it off.
Well, we can't let them win then. They cannot win. we have to end it.
They've won 8 straight, their longest ever in the series. So
Greg said he took out a HELOC loan and bought 4 tickets to the Georgia game.
I feel you, Greg. Yeah, I feel you.
John said,
had to donate a kidney.
Yeah, exactly. Donating plasma and all kinds of stuff. Very unlike Tuscaloosa right now, where you can get in the door for less than $20.
That's for like 3 tickets.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Jonathan said, congrats on 250th episode, the best podcast out there. You're the man, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Carl said, Joey's a playmaker, no panic, looking downfield. Absolutely. Let's see. Backflip Spaghetti said, would y'all agree that the deep pass to Matthews is a potential interception versus Georgia? I would.
Yeah, he's thrown a couple that I think, were sort of head scratchers. But I also, does he know the level of competition he's going up against? I think he knows maybe that he can throw it up there. Also, that's either a touchdown or a punt. Inside the
An arm
inside
punt,
the four.
basically.
Inside the four. I had no problem with it. I like that a lot better than overthrowing your guy by 40 yards, or the Vandy underthrow that was so bad last year at Vandy. If you remember, that was the worst deep ball I think I've ever seen from a Tennessee quarterback. And I watched Justin Worley play quarterback, guys. It was really bad. No offense, Justin. Sorry. Hope you're not watching. Yeah, that was good motion. You got it down. You just push it out there like Uncle Rico.
It was the weirdest shot put delivery I've ever seen in a quarterback. I used to watch him, and it just hurt my shoulder to try to figure out what in the world he was doing.
Yeah, well, yeah. So even he couldn't have thrown that ball that Nico did against Vanderbilt last year. So it was nice. I liked it against the competition. Now, if you do that against Georgia, maybe the wheels fall off, maybe they don't. But I think there's a lot to be said about if we look at the history of Heupel's offense here at Tennessee. No matter who's playing quarterback, they really take pretty good care of the football. In fact, better than any other program in the SEC. So the only thing I've seen Joey do thus far that concerned me was with that bad snap, trying to get the snap off before the 2-minute timeout. He didn't fall on the football. That was it.
Yep.
Fall on the football.
I agree.
That's the only kind of boneheaded thing that I think I've seen him do that gave me cause for concern. Otherwise, I think he's been lights out.
Totally agree.
I would like to know the ball that Mike Matthews went and got. I would like to know what that play call actually was, because Braylon Staley was the intended target, and Mike Matthews just decided to go get it. And there is not a play you draw up that has a guy running essentially a corner route while another guy on the sidelines running a go route, where they would both end up running into each other 40 yards downfield. Like that play call doesn't exist. So I would love to know who screwed up and who ran the wrong route. I'm thinking it was probably Mike Matthews. And then he got
a
rewarded.
scramble drill, and you can see Joey point to him and say go, essentially.
Well,
and Joey didn't consider he'd have another guy running right to the same spot.
If you're telling him to go, you're sending him right into the guy who's actually running
exactly.
So
I was guessing. Yeah, I was guessing, Ruston, that just live that maybe Matthews was supposed to run kind of an in route or something to potentially peel off a DB, and then with the scramble drill, he just went deep. And but yeah, I am curious. I would love to know what that call was too at the time. But credit to Matthews for going up and making a play, and two, you guys mentioned Staley there. I think Joey and Staley. Yeah, I think Joey wants to look at Staley when he's in trouble.
Yeah,
I know he made a couple
some chemistry.
I think he made a couple scramble passes to Brazel, which was good to see. Tennessee had 2 100-yard receivers Saturday. That's pretty nice. Been a minute, it feels like. So with Brazel and Matthews really coming through, so a lot of good things there. But I'm with you, Rustin. I thought, what happened there? But hey, I'll take it. Throw it up. Let your receivers make a play. Let Mike Matthews go up there and use that athleticism.
Absolutely. Brennan with maybe my favorite comment of the night so far. He said, I'm going to let you know every time this happens, but I went to the pharmacy yesterday and got a discount because of my Go Big Orange hat, my GBO hat that he got on the volbros.com/shop. And he said,
that none of you can get.
Yeah, until Richardson gets them back in stock. He said, the owner asked where I got my hat, proudly repping the GBO hat. Brennan, you are the man, dude. Thank you so much. And seriously, if everybody wants to go to the volbros.com/shop, you can see the hat he's talking about. We got 2 hats on there. One it's a white hat with GBO across it. Richardson currently trying to get them back in stock. They're so popular, not just our hat, just that hat in general. And then we also have a goat with 22 in the middle for Tony Vitello. Sweet hat too. So strongly recommend everybody checking those out. That is awesome. Thank you, Brennan. Will's here from Ohio. Welcome, Will. Good to have you, buddy. Let's see. Slick Biker, welcome, buddy. He said the year the puppy dogs get put back in their place. I hope so. He's saying Tennessee 34, Georgia 24. Man, that'd be. Sign me up for that. Just for a win. Sign me up for a win. That's all I care about. Let's see. Carl said he won 50 on South Florida, and I'm petty. I bet against UCLA both games and won.
Man, I watched that. I watched that entire UCLA UNLV game. Like I said last week, I hope they took out an insurance policy because Nico is not going to survive this season. That offensive line might be the worst in the country.
Yeah, Brennan, he just said that too. He said, Ruston said it. I hope UCLA has a good insurance policy.
They look rough. They did cut UNLV tried to lose that game. I don't know what Amon was doing. Only to let Nico throw a game-ending pick, which we've seen before. So that's going to be that whole saga, guys, is going to be on a documentary down the line in 10 years when it's like NIL
that's a 30
era
for 30
football.
waiting to happen, right?
Yeah. The Nico Iamaleava story. Also, if you watch that game, Rustin, you could catch that they could not pronounce his name, which I do not understand.
No,
I do not understand. No one on the broadcast could say his name. It was different every time. They would pause and kind of laugh at each other. I don't understand. How does that happen?
Last week, Desmond Howard and Pat McAfee couldn't say his name on the air on game day.
There was a stretch there in that UCLA game where they couldn't pronounce anyone's name that was making the plays. And I was thinking, guys, you have one job. You're an announcer.
Yeah, for real.
Literally, you got one job. Let's get it together. Anyway, side note. Sorry.
I just hope when Deshaun Foster gets fired this year that Nico goes and plays for the school he should have gone to from the beginning, the Fighting Rainbow Warrior Timmy Changs of Hawaii. He will be a perfect fit there.
I thought you were going to say the volleyball team.
Well, that's option 2. Depends on how good the NIL program is.
Jonathan said, "I think Evan and Rustin need to be celebrity guest pickers this Saturday." Hey, I'm on board with that, man. Like I will be there with bells on. My wife would love it because Peter the dog will be there, and she loves Peter the dog. Like we were actually talking about going up to game day Saturday morning, and she was like, "Peter will be there." So you might see us on TV. We might be there anyway. Let's see. I'm gonna skip on down here. Rebel Juice said Kevin Hart was at the game on Saturday. He sure was. Pretty cool. Carl said Ty Redmond is a dog. Yeah, he is. Will said we're going to beat Florida in the swamp this year. I hope so. I sure hope so. Mr. Osborne said, as for Mississippi State, I have a lot of respect for them. He was in Starkville in the 1990 game. Falls won 45-3. He said, I was also in Neyland in 86 when Mississippi State whipped us 56-28. Mississippi State played well yesterday. They really did.
I was down there in 2012 when they beat Derek Dooley and the Vols. And there's a famous shot, if you guys remember, of Derek Dooley getting wheeled down a ramp in a wheelchair because I guess after he broke his hip. Yep. Yeah, I was there for that one. That was fun. That was my one and only trip to Starkville thus far, covering the game.
Yeah, that was a famous photo there.
Long, sad drive for me.
Cordero Patterson put on a show that game, though, if I'm remembering correctly. That's the same game.
Yep, still lost. I got a bunch of great pictures of him just with no one around him somehow. And still
didn't he have he had like 100-yard punt return for a touchdown in that game.
It was something.
Yards.
It was something crazy, and you just kept thinking, surely Tennessee will get a stop, and Tennessee did not get a stop that whole season.
Hey, Reed, you said earlier, I saw Justin Worley play. I was sitting there thinking, like, you had the luxury of covering the Vols when Justin Worley was playing quarterback and Jacob Carter was returning punts.
Raw
Wait, I'm
athleticism
sorry, I
right there.
Yeah, I misspoke there. When Justin Worley was playing quarterback and Jacob Carter was calling fair catches. That's what was happening every single play.
Yeah, couldn't field a punt there. There was a stretch where Tennessee couldn't even field a punt, which was something.
Yep. I think Oreo Puppy Dog is right. I think we're going to see Boo Carter play offense this week, and I think at least for one maybe two plays. And I'd love to see a fake punt. I don't think we'll see that, but I do think we'll see Boo on offense. Matt, there's a channel member. Welcome, buddy. Good to have you. Let's see. Carl said Kirby would call the wrong defense just to make his team look bad and then use it to motivate his own players.
He does, I feel like, sandbag those non-conference opening season games. There's some kind of stat about him covering spreads of 30 or more, and he never does. He's just there's something there. There's something there, Carl. You're on to something.
Nolan said Heupel, Martinez, and Banks are the three coaches who've gotten the most criticism and are also our three best coaches. Crazy how that works. That's pretty good.
Secondary has looked really good this year, despite being down two of their top two defensive backs thus far. A lot of athleticism, a lot of closing on the football. They've definitely exceeded my expectations, and I was pretty high on Colton Hood before the year, but even he's kind of blown me away thus far.
Absolutely. David said Radarius Jackson looked like Justin Hunter, high pointing some of those. Absolutely.
There you go. 2012 Vols represent.
Yeah. That is two different references to the 23, I think, to the 2012 Vols we've had tonight.
Cordell Patterson had a 98-yard kick return for a touchdown that game.
Kick return. That's
good
what
memory.
It was.
Good memory.
Yeah. I remember that up the right sideline. I remember watching that. For some reason, we were in a hotel that night. We were going somewhere. I can't remember where we were, but we watched it from the hotel room. I remember that. Let's see here. Carl, hey, we're glad anytime you join us, man. Absolutely. I am almost totally caught up. I know I'm skipping through some. Jared said it's cool seeing the quarterback's family enjoying being at Tennessee. Absolutely, man. The video of Joey's grandmother, seeing him throw that deep pass to Mike Matthews, that was awesome. That was awesome.
His mom tearing up when he ran through the tee.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Sam said he went golfing today. That's what I'm talking about, Sam. That's good, man. I hope you played well. Real Puppy Dog said we got the best quarterback in the SEC. Well, what's interesting is, statistically speaking, that's accurate as of right now. That is a correct take right now, because he statistically is the best. So we'll see what happens. Carl said Vols 42, Georgia 21. Dang, Carl. Woo! I would love that, man. That would be amazing. Let's see. Bobby, welcome, Bobby. He said Joey said he intended it for Matthews. Yeah, he definitely told Matthews. He pointed at him and told him to go. Joey just did not think about, wait, I got another guy coming there too.
Right. If that's the case, then Joey royally screwed up, because Braylon Staley was 100% running the corner route.
Yep. Carl said that play was called the "they won't expect this" play. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Backflip Spaghetti said that tight end at the wideout spot. I'm guessing he's talking about Ethan Davis. played an awesome game. Austin, welcome.
Deshaun Brom also got he lined up in the slot, and they actually threw him the ball.
Mm-hmm. Rebel Juice said, overtime this weekend, Vols win 34-31, and the goalpost comes down. I mean, as long as they win, I'll be loving that.
Win by half a point. I don't care.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. David's given the title of the Nico documentary. Deborah said at least Nico didn't run out of bounds on the last play. Carl said Long Beach got a team. They got a volleyball team. You're right. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to skip on down. Mina, like he said, Reed, did you say you were having some kind of lemon confection at that game? Where's my memory playing games?
Are we talking about which game are we talking about? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me know. Whenever I used to have a tradition, maybe you're remembering this when I was before I covered the team. Whenever we got down, I would eat some kind of frozen lemonade that they had pre-made at the game. It's amazing I don't have diabetes now because there were a couple. Like I remember the 2001 LSU SEC championship game. I think I ate like 5 of those things. So I ate 5 like iced lemon cups of. I don't know what it was, like Italian ice, but probably, enough sugar to kill an elephant. And I had a superstition that would get us back in the game somehow, and it did not work that game. And I think I gave it up after that, probably because my pancreas was shutting down. I think that's the right organ. Any doctors out there? I'm not sure.
Backflip Spaghetti said we could have a T-shirt that says "That's what I'm talking about" on it. There you go. Will's got a good suggestion for us. Anytime we got too many comments going, Ruston and I can alternate pulling them up. That's a good plan. We might do that. Rebel Juice said, he's talking about Nico last year. I'm caught up kind of on the comments.
Somebody in the comments brought up Georgia's number 2 tight end who played quite a bit Saturday. He either dislocated his ankle or broke his leg in the second quarter.
Neither of which is ideal.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty confident that your leg should never go this way and then this way. So I will say he will not be playing on Saturday.
He has, according to Tennessee, he has an upper body injury.
Fell on a helmet.
Yeah, there you go. He fell on a helmet. You're exactly right. Well, y'all let us know in the comments your answer to this, but we're going to do our player of the game. Reed, we will start with you. Who was your player of the game yesterday?
Guys, I went back and forth on this, but I had to go with Aguilar. Kind of the obvious choice. I hate to take the obvious choice, but after that, I was so surprised. And I know we haven't talked. I don't even think I've texted you guys since the Syracuse game, but I was very surprised at how crisp the offense looked in that game. And what the passing game looked like against Syracuse, and then for them to come out and one-up it, against an inferior opponent, but those high passes weren't happening again, that we saw in the first game that I thought were just probably first game nerves or jitters. Looks like that's all that was. It wasn't anything mechanical. Had some drops that didn't help him. I thought he had looked like he'd been in the system for 7 years. I was extremely impressed with what he was able to do at the quarterback position again for Tennessee. And for football time this year, when I was writing the top 25 before Nico transferred in the spring, my little snippet for Tennessee was the passing game and Nico have to take a step forward for Tennessee to get back to the playoff this year. This passing game, I'm confident, as long as Aguilar's out there, is going to be better than the one last year. I know we haven't really seen Tennessee play anybody yet, but you can tell by the confidence that Heupel has in him, by the play calls that they're calling, by all the formations and the wrinkles, doing these tight bunch sets that they really never run. You mentioned pistol. there's so many things I've seen that I think translate well to SEC play and to big time football that I've seen from Joey, and what that does to open up the offense and bring back that Heupel offense that we all fell in love with in 2021 and 2022. So for me, it's Joey. Just complete command of the team in his first home start. And man, really driving the ball outside the hashes and down the field outside the hashes is something that
Yep.
we really haven't seen with accuracy in a couple of years.
I would hate to be Georgia's defensive coordinator this week because they have a lot to prepare for. I've never seen Josh Heupel run this many different personnel groupings, formations, motions, trades. The personnel groupings as far as not so much position, but specific guys. Like they're putting guys on the field with other certain ones to create mismatches, and
We had three
the
tight ends on
scouting
the field in
report.
one play last week.
Yeah, the scouting report is, and the beauty of it is, if you're the defensive coordinator of Georgia, you're looking at it going, they ran that with this group, but they could just as easily put Brazel in this spot. They could put Ethan Davis here. They could put Star Thomas here. Like you're sitting there looking at it going, they have so many options they can go to in so many different ways. It's almost impossible to prepare for. So kudos to Heupel for putting an absurd amount of options on film that Georgia's going to have to deal with and sit there and try to break down. As far as player of the game, you throw for almost 300 yards and a half with no picks, it's you. Like nobody else can take that away.
I will say to both the point that both of you just made, it does seem as though Joey Aguilar and Josh Heupel's system were a match made in heaven. This has been tremendous for both sides of that coin right now. And this has been a delight for Tennessee fans and his teammates that he's been able, because like we've said it so many times now, it is very obvious Heupel trusts Aguilar. He has confidence in him way more than he did Nico last year. Like there's no denying that based on just 2 games of work. We've seen more formations in 2 games than we've seen maybe in the last 2 seasons combined. It's been unreal what we've seen so far. With all that said, my player of the game was Boo Carter.
Good one.
He changed the game. We were starting with the ball on ETSU's 20-yard line or closer. Throughout the first quarter and the first part of the second quarter, I would love to know what our average starting field position was, because and that makes Joey's and the running backs numbers even more impressive, that they had 200 something, like Joey had 83 yards passing, and he's starting each possession on ETSU's 20-yard line. It was incredible what they were able to do, because Boo was flipping the field every time. He proved again yesterday that he is a threat. If you punt him the ball, he's a threat.
Yeah. It took ETSU a long time to figure out, hey, maybe we shouldn't punt it to that guy.
Exactly.
If you notice, do you have 3 really good returns before they realized, let's kick it out of bounds or through the end zone, maybe.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll be shocked if Georgia punts it to him one time this weekend, because they won't make that mistake. So for flipping the field so many times, I got to give it to Boo. And then he had a really nice play on defense that he came up. He was at the star spot. I think it was in the third quarter. He came up to almost the line of scrimmage, and it was him and an offensive lineman. He shed the blocker and made a tackle in the backfield, which was pretty nice.
He had a couple of. I thought he was really physical, in the defensive secondary Saturday. we know about his athleticism, right? We know that he's an elite athlete at the Division I, even SEC football level. There's no doubt about that about Boo. But I thought he was really physical and looked really good out there, which is what Tennessee needs from him with the banged up secondary.
Absolutely. Nolan said the first Tennessee team I remember watching was Fulmer's last couple of years, so I definitely remember those Kiffin and Dooley years. Crazy times. That's a fair assessment. Yes. He said, just glad we're back. Amen, brother. Deborah said, is it just me or is Joey disguising his handoffs really well? Just when I think it's a run, I see a receiver get it. What do y'all think?
I think that's more the systems he's come out of. I think he's played under some coaches who do a really good job teaching the mesh. And, so it's very natural for him.
First had the fumble in game one. It was I don't know what if that was on. I think Star was in at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was on Star or Joey, but essentially in that snap over his head, not his fault. Still should have fallen on the football, but gonna be hard to beat Georgia with more than one turnover Saturday. That's something to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Rhonda said, everyone, whatever clothes you wore yesterday, make sure you wear them again this Saturday. She's not even
check her Neeland though, Rhonda. We gotta. What do we do?
That's a good point. She said she's not even a little stitious. She's superstitious.
Check her Neeland. So we gotta abide by the rules. Because I think Tennessee's won the last 3 Checker Neeland games, I believe.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out Spencer Barnett, who came up with that idea right here from Cleveland, Tennessee, just up the road from us. Very cool. Carl said Joey was his player of the game. Nolan gave his score prediction for this Saturday. Let's see. Mina, like he said, it was your appendix probably, Reed, on that when you're talking about that earlier.
No, she posted that when I was talking about the broken leg.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Like he said, Joey was her player of the game as well. Will said, was Nico just that bad compared to Joey, or was it something else, more experience? I think it's a combination of factors personally. I think the lack of go ahead.
I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and my dad's watched a lot of football in his life. And what Heupel's system needs is a confident quarterback. And every system needs that, but I don't think you saw the hesitancy with Nico in every game. And after the first read wasn't there, everything kind of broke down. You saw things break down with Joe Milton as well, whereas Hooker was letting it fly or making a decision to run. And I just think really, to me, it's not so much a talent thing as just a confident thing in his ability and his own ability, but also his understanding of the offense and his teammates around him. And it's kind of amazing to me that he's looked this good this quickly. It's something that maybe if you look at Hendon Hooker, he was significantly better in 2022 than 2021, even though 2021's offense set a lot of records for Tennessee. Joey has jumped in here and I think exceeded every single reasonable and most outlandish expectations thus far for 2 games. Now the test is Saturday. He could go out there and not look the same, but thus far the cogs of the offense look like we have been clamoring for since y'all started your show.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't discount either the 2 new voices in the quarterback room. You've got Seth Littrell and Landry Jones sitting there, and I've said this repeatedly. I don't know that there's a quarterback room in America with more coaching in it than we have. When you've got Heupel, Halsley, Landry Jones, and Seth Littrell, you have 4 quarterback gurus, guys who have put big-time quarterbacks into the NFL all in the same room. So all three of our quarterbacks, if they ever need anything, they have just an unlimited supply of knowledge they can go access, and really good teachers. So I think when you look at Hendon's first year, he only had half the field. Like they didn't trust him with the entire playbook. He was making half field reads the entire season. They've given Joey the entire playbook previously, and everything Seth Littrell and Landry Jones have added to it. It's incredible the amount of information he's having to digest. And the only way, again, he was their fifth choice. The only way you take a guy who is your fifth choice and turn him into this is unbelievable work ethic and development in that room. You can't do it any other way. Like, he didn't just magically get good this year. You're talking about a
trust too. A lot of trust all ways, right?
Yeah. You're talking about a guy that if our third choice had said yes, he's backing up Nico at UCLA right now. This is a pretty incredible transformation.
I watched Altmaier, Illinois' quarterback, Saturday, and thought, man, really glad that Aguilar's here. And no shot at Altmaier, but I'm glad you brought up Littrell and Jones, Ruston, because I pulled up the support staff over here on my other tab. I couldn't remember Littrell's name because I think Heupel's offseason moves really have had a lot to do with the wrinkles that we're seeing in this offense. It's not
Agreed.
the bones are the same, right? But there are so many more elements through this offense and so many more formations and personnel groupings than we've seen from Heupel in his career ever. Not just in Tennessee. I think this is a much more multiple, versatile offense system-wise than we've seen from Heupel. I think he realized in the offseason kind of the changes that needed to be made, the weaknesses, and teams are catching up to him. And those two guys, Littrell and Jones, I do think deserve a lot of credit for not just Joey's success, but the offense as a whole really looking a lot more multiple across the board. So good point, Ruston.
And two guys that Heupel really trusts. Two guys he's known for a long time, and he knows their knowledge, and he's clearly taking in what they're saying.
Yeah, and you guys know this as business people, right? Like, the best thing you can have around you are people you can trust. And if you want to grow your business, if you want to take it to the next step, if you want to grow as a human being, right, is surround yourself with people you can trust, and not people. And this is where I think Butch has made a massive error, Jones, in his career. People you can control. That's not what you want. You want people you can trust, who can speak the truth to you and who can challenge you and help you grow. And I think Heupel has done a good job of doing that here at Tennessee. And that's why I'm kind of bullish on him long-term here.
Yep.
Well, so both of you made a fantastic point there. When you consider from the time Nico got on campus, like we'll just talk about on campus, from the time Nico got on campus to his first start of a full season last year, I'm not going to count the Iowa game and the bowl game the year before, but in that amount of time, he had almost 2 full calendar years on campus to learn the offense. And it was blatantly obvious last year during the season that Heupel didn't trust him to run the whole show.
If the first read wasn't there, it was gone pretty much.
Yeah,
it was a one read quarterback, and most of the time.
And kudos to Joey. He's been on campus for 3 months before his first start. And compared to 2 full calendar years, he had 3 months. And he must have been working his tail off before and since he got to campus, just devouring the playbook and learning it, because they clearly trust him like crazy. They trust him to do. And y'all, it almost took me back when it happened, but during the game yesterday, they lined up with 2 guys split to Joey's left, 1 guy split to his right. Joey dropped back to pass looking left, and in a very almost like dramatic head shift. He went and came back and looked to the right. And I was like, wait, we can do that? Like that's allowed. It was, and then he completed a pass to Chris Brazel on the right side. It was fantastic. I mean, the guy's using the whole field, going through multiple different options. It's a breath of fresh air. It's the way it's supposed to be played, right? So that was a good question. Like you said, Joey was her player of the game. Nolan said, when we beat Georgia, it feels like 98 the rest of the year, and I'm here for it. Mississippi Vol said Chris Brazel, player of the game. He said he was out there doing his Brazel dazzle, but seriously, he's had some rough moments last year, and it's good to see him getting, playing so well so far this year, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Really, really good to see Brazel and Matthews have big games, even against ETSU. Just get some confidence headed into league play. I thought that was huge for both those guys, because there's no, we got eyes. We can see those guys are talented. And it's just putting it together on the field. I think, having a quarterback that can get you the ball, that does help. A little chemistry there too, and timing, and I think that's going to help. But happy to see those guys, I think, live up to what we all can see as their athletic potential.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Rhonda said, Star Thomas, our player of the game. I mean, you score 3 touchdowns. You're definitely in the running for player of the game, aren't you? Fantastic game by Star. David said Aguilar's amazing touch on his deep ball, something Nico Milton can never learn. That's a fair assessment. John said it's hard to pick a single player, but he'd say Joey. But he could also see Boo for his punt returns and his play on defense. Sam said, amazing how hard work in the film room and with the coaches translates to the field. I never heard the coaches say it, but something was off with Nico's understanding. Jeff said, back before the season, I said Joey will be much more like Hooker than Milton. That's true. He did. I can vouch for that. He did say that. He said, this will be Hype's best team, and I stand by that this Saturday. I mean, so far, you're right on track, buddy. You're exactly right. Rebel Juice said, Joey's player of the game, not just because of his stats, but because of his heart. And so that was the other factor that I was going to throw into the ring, and I forgot to say it, so I'm glad you mentioned this, Rebel Juice. Another thing that is very different between Joey and Nico is Joey's desire to learn and be better seems to be light years ahead of Nico's desire at this point. Joey has gratitude for the position that he's in right now. He's trying to take advantage of every second of it. And if he keeps playing like he's going to do, he's going to mess around and end up making him an NFL, quarterback. So he's certainly exceeded every expectation, like Reed was saying earlier. David said he thinks Star Thomas will be big. He runs hard. He's a real weapon catching in the backfield. John said, is Ruston warming up to Joey?
I'll answer that question after this Saturday.
The one puzzle that Heupel has not solved thus far in his Tennessee career, right, has been the Georgia defense.
Absolutely. Nolan said Heupel is his player/coach of the game for managing to break the scoring record by just 1 point every time, so you can drag it out and do it every year.
Going to get 73 next year against directional Tennessee State.
Yeah. Sam said, is there any chance Joey can get another year of eligibility? Unfortunately not. No. Let's see. Rebel G said, so if Tennessee wins Saturday, we all go live Saturday so we can celebrate together. We'll go live Sunday night. Although for channel members that are honorary fam and watch party fam, we post rapid reaction videos after the games now. So we do that, but we'll go live Sunday night. Sam said, would you credit Joey's being in the quarterback room with quicker development of Merck and McIntyre?
No, I would credit Joey Halsley, Seth Littrell, and Landry Jones for that development.
that was another takeaway from Saturday, guys. Is the backup quarterbacks look really good.
Yeah.
I was that's the best I've seen Tennessee's 2, 3, 4 deep quarterbacks look ever. I don't know in any game. It's obviously rare that we get to see the 3 deep even a quarterback get in the game, but impressed with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Decisive. What we didn't see the last couple of years was decisiveness. They were decisive when they came in, and that's what you want.
Nolan said he can't wait for 2045 when Heupel's 68 and he breaks a scoring record again by scoring 100 points in a game.
They could have beat ETSU 140-0, I think.
They Saturday. Could have, yeah. And that's a credit to the ETSU team. Was not a bad team. They beat Murray State 45-17 the week before. So, I mean, they're not slouches, and Tennessee just put it on them. Will said he's curious to see how Georgia's pressure affects Joey.
I will be surprised if there's not an interception Saturday, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think he's made a wrong read yet. Really. I was at the game, so it's harder to take notes than it is when I'm watching on TV. But I think he's been really, really good with his reads. I will be surprised if there's not one off the hands of a receiver that gets picked, a little high or something like that. Of course, I think they had Kitselman dropped one, Bishop dropped a couple, Matthews dropped one. I think we got to catch the ball if it touches your hands. But I could see a high rocket, make the right read, little off target, under pressure, bounces off the hands, gets picked Saturday. That's in my head. That's a fear.
Noah, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, I think Joey can go through his progressions quickly, and he doesn't stare down receivers so far. That's true. Andrew said, Ruston, please explain how the mesh is supposed to be executed.
That's hard to do on a video. So the fumble last week, Joey never fully got the ball all the way into Starr's gut. So you're supposed to stick the ball all the way into their gut and hold it there for as long as you possibly can. And you put pressure. So let's say Starr was going to the right or to the left. You put pressure with your outside hand, and so the running back knows the ball is still there. So as they're running through and you're pressing into them with your outside hand, your inside hand pulls the ball if you decide to keep it. The fumble last week was Starr. He never fully got the ball onto Starr's body. He hit his hip, and so that's what caused the ball to come out. Joey does a really good job of keeping that thing engaged with their body until the last possible second. And that makes it really difficult on everybody on the defense to even recognize where the ball is. So if it's an RPO and he rides that thing as long as he does, then pulls it out the very last second, the defense is all on their heels trying to figure out where the ball is going, and it makes the RPO even more active. So I think Joey just does a really good job keeping that pressure on the running back's body for an extended period of time, longer than most quarterbacks do.
It's back to that the one of the themes I feel like for tonight in this conversation has been decisiveness, right? He's able to hold it because he knows he can make that decision quickly or make the decision after that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the comments that came through, let's see here. I starred 4 of them to come back to.
That's a good one.
Jeff said all these things you guys are saying about Joey's things he was saying on behalf of Joey before the season started, and that's very true. I'm totally agree with that. Jeff was saying that well before the season started. Deborah made a good point. She said Joey also has a leader mentality. Nico did not have that, and that is a good point. Richard, this is cool. Greetings from Phoenix, guys. Georgia quarterback has a very sore ankle. Blitz, blitz, blitz. Hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're with us from Phoenix. That is so cool. That is awesome. I'm glad you're joining us. Rhonda said, do you all think Nico ran off the other wide receivers or helped them make that decision easier?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think if me sitting here in my home office could say, that passing game was kind of a wreck, I would say his fellow receivers probably understood that he wasn't helping their stock. That's just my quick quip on that there, Rhonda.
Let's see. David said, I think Tim Bakes will be the key on defense. I think he's going to throw everything at Stockton and make him see ghosts like he did Jackson Arnold last year. Yeah, for sure.
Josephs needs to have a big game.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And Jordan Ross. Jordan Ross has been coming on recently. He's looked better and better.
I thought he was really good in both games, really, in limited snaps. Need to get hopefully somebody at defensive interior lineman back Saturday. We'll see.
So Bobby said 2 rooms I'd like to hear you guys talk about are the offensive line, particularly Lance Hurd, and then the secondary. So I'll give my take real quick, and then we'll let Reed and Ruston give their takes on both those things. First of all, the offensive line, I think everybody in All Nation has to be extremely happy with how they've played so far. Other than the quarterback, offensive line was the biggest question mark coming into the season because they only had one returning starter, and that would be Lance Hurd. And they have all played their tails off this year. I mean, 0 sacks in 2 games. We'll see how that stat is after this week. If it's still 0 after this week, give them the Offensive Line of the Year award at this point in the season. I mean, everybody has to be extremely happy with how they've played, especially Shane Umarov. The dude is playing phenomenally well. Sam Pendleton is becoming the leader of that group in a very short amount of time. So I think everybody has to be very happy there. With the secondary, it is going to really hurt not having Ricky Gibson or Jamon McCoy this weekend. That's not what you want when you got a number 6 or whatever, number 3, number 6 team in the country coming into your stadium. So, hopefully, I think everybody has to be extremely thrilled with how Ty Redmond has played thus far. He's exceeded expectations. Colton Hood, like Reed said earlier, man, what a pleasant surprise he's been. Kudos to Willie Martinez. What y'all's thoughts?
The staff there, I do like that about Lance Hurd there. I think somebody else commented too, in addition to Bobby. He's really changed his entire physique. If you looked, it was not a question of effort last year for Lance. He kind of got, if you're on Twitter, he was kind of an easy target, I think, sometimes for clips coming out. But he just wasn't lean enough, wasn't quick enough, wasn't explosive enough to be a complete tackle. And this year, he's really transformed his body. That strength staff as a whole, if you even look at guys from the spring to the fall, I think has done just an incredible job. Even getting a guy like Ty Redmond ready to play and be physical as a freshman there. Colton Hood coming in and from Colorado and having to get faster, stronger here to play in the SEC. Been really impressed with the strength staff as a whole. O-line's been incredible. I think exceeded all expectations. Really like Pendleton when he transferred here, but he's been better than I thought so far. So yeah, this will be the biggest test of the year. Unfortunately, it's game 3, or maybe fortunately because Georgia hasn't looked great thus far. We'll see who that ends up benefiting, but lots to like just really across the board. And guys, we talked about it before the season. Tennessee's they've got more talent. It's unproven. It's untested. It's going to get tested Saturday, and then we'll see where it goes from here. But it's pretty evident that this team is in better shape. They're stronger. They're faster. They're more athletic across the board than they have been in a long time.
Totally agree.
When you're coaching, you're always looking for things to kind of pick at, especially early in the season. When you're having a lot of success, you don't want them to get a big head. I think one of the things the coaches will probably harp on this week is run blocking. I thought pass blocking, they were outstanding. I don't think they can pass block any better than what they're doing. And I don't mean just the first 5, like the first 7 or 8 were outstanding pass blocking. The run blocking had some issues, especially guys like Marcus Satterwhite. I don't think Marcus is going to like his grade when they grade his film this weekend. He whiffed on a lot of run blocks. So I think they'll probably really challenge them in the run game this week, which is going to be needed against Georgia. I think this game against Georgia will end up probably being lower scoring, and I think the running back room will be the difference. I said it earlier. I think our running back room is better, and so if the offensive line is doing their job, then the running back room should have a big day.
David said it's the Joe Moore Award. That's the word. I couldn't think of the name, so I appreciate that, David. Mr. Jones says, should we hold off on David Sanders starting? I mean, I wouldn't start him because Perry's done well. You don't want his first snap being against a 5-star defensive end from Georgia who's probably a third-year guy out there, That's just my personal opinion. I think he should play, but I don't think he should be the first one on the field. Rhonda said, do you remember how many penalties we had? That's something we cannot repeat and do against Georgia.
We had 6 for 45 yards.
And I think that's something, too, that I haven't looked at the stats there, Rhonda, but I've just been kind of struck by. It seems to be a lot less penalties this year so far, especially on offense. Mm-hmm. False starts. We had a couple of defensive, lining up in the neutral zone or offsides that are just like, what are we doing here? Again, so far this year, but just overall, it looks like this team feels like one of Heupel's cleanest teams thus far. Because we've seen penalties be a problem against whoever they're playing. It doesn't have to be Georgia or Florida or Alabama. It can be Austin Peay or ETSU or Kent State. Yeah, I think I've been kind of impressed, and I don't know if that's what I think on offense you can point to the quarterback potentially or Pendleton at center. But just overall, it looks like this has been one of the cleaner Heupel teams that I've seen through 2 games. Hopefully it translates.
Jeff said Ruston just nailed it again. What Hype said going into half about being sloppy and a lot of things to clean up. Yeah, Ruston loved the fact that Heupel was not happy going into halftime. And Rhonda agrees with you, Reed, what you just said there. Rebel G asked a question about this Saturday, so I'm going to save that for Reed here in just a second. Slim said we had a lot of drive-killing penalties last year. Jonathan said, I love that we could be up by 15. Hype's still not happy with how it's going. Absolutely. So last question, y'all let us know your answer in the comments. We always do a play of the game. So, Reed, we'll start with you. What was your play of the game yesterday?
Well, I didn't tell you this earlier, Evan, but you kind of teased it when you were talking about Aguilar making reads. And it was the first touchdown pass to Brazel. If you look, he drops back, looks left. 2 receivers, I believe, to the left, like you said. I don't know what his reads were, but he looked left, popped back right, pump faked, and then threw it over 2 defenders. Just beautiful throw on a rope to Brazel in the back corner of the end zone, and dropped it right there for him to catch. Maybe you could say, do you want that ball higher? Do you not? I thought it was a good read, great ball, good pump fake, good patience, good pocket awareness. He didn't. That just doesn't happen last year, guys. I'm not trying to pile on to Nico here, but that wasn't in the realm of possibilities. And I sit in the south end zone, so that was in my end zone, headed toward me in that corner, and I kind of saw the play happen from 38 rows up, and thought, wow, all right, this is a good sign. Last week, Syracuse week wasn't a fluke. This whole offense is opened up, so I thought it set the tone for the game. gave me a lot of confidence that the Syracuse game wasn't a fluke. And also good to see Brazel get a touchdown. Kind of highly touted transfer last year, didn't live up to expectations for a lot of reasons, I think, and really showing out yesterday was big.
You go ahead. I'll go third.
Well, nobody's going to like mine. So, I mean, here's the thing. We scored over 70 points in the game. So obviously there's a lot of plays that you could say, dude, that was a great play. I mean, obviously the one Reed just mentioned, beautiful play. And like I said, how refreshing is it to have a quarterback that actually progresses through his reads and uses the whole field? What a luxury, right? What a luxury. Obviously you could say one of either the second or third return Boo Carter had. Either one of those would qualify. When he juked the dude out of his shoes in the middle of the field, that was just gorgeous. It was gorgeous. So obviously, you could say that. I want to give a shout out to the walk on. I think he might not even be a walk on. The Wooten kid for blocking the DB out of like two yards out of bounds. Like he just totally opened up the whole side of the field.
Winton,
yeah. That was awesome. What a play. So that's obviously a good one. But then you come down to the two, and this is, I'm going to give two here. Neither one of them is fancy. But how nice was it on the opening drive of the game? We run an RPO. We fake the handoff and hit Miles Kitzelman over the middle of the field in a pretty little window of space there. And we get a first down, a nice little gain off of that. How nice was it that we could even do that? Like that's what the offense is supposed to be able to do. And we were not able to do that last year. And we did it. And that was nice. But this is why I'm going to say nobody's going to like my actual play of the game. So my actual play of the game was a combination of 3 plays, all of which were passes to Chris Brazel. And he never jumped when he didn't need to unnecessarily to catch the ball. That is my plays of the game, because last year he would have been in the air all 3 times. The 3 times I'm thinking of yesterday, he kept his feet about him and just made the play. And how nice was it to see that? So that right there, the reason that's my play of the game, because that shows that he legit worked on that all off season, because clearly that was a bad habit that he had ingrained into himself. And he obviously worked on it all off season. Kudos to the coaching staff. It's gone. It looks like it's gone. And that's a wonderful thing. So that's why player development is my play of the game there.
So there were a lot of really good plays yesterday. There were a lot of really, really positive things to take away. I think you could have named any one of 10 different things, but all of Vol Nation will agree with me that there was only one play yesterday that was the absolute best play of the day. And that was Nico Grammatica banging a 20-yard field goal through as the game expired for the Fighting Alex Golishas to take down Florida in the swamp. That was the play of the day for the University of Tennessee.
I like the enthusiasm, Ruston. I do like the enthusiasm. Man.
And how great was it that it was a Grammatica that did it? That just made it even better.
I did watch that game. Incredible.
Nothing else mattered.
I'll give you an honorary mention play of the game. Tennessee's entire defense, the first 5 drives, ETSU went 3 and out, 5 straight drives. It took them their 6th drive to run 4 plays in a drive. They ran 5. So there's my honorary mention. Honorable mention.
That's a good one.
Plays of the game. 5 straight 3 and outs to open the game for ETSU because of Tennessee's defense.
That may be even better than Grammatica's field goal, actually.
Nope.
Anytime the Swamp Lizards lose at home,
not a chance.
To an honorary Vol,
Yes.
It's arguably Tennessee's first win there since 2003.
Yeah.
It's like the associative property in math there,
Right. Vols get credited with a quarter of a win for that.
Auburn claimed a national championship for it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
They've heard of Alex Golish. Hang the banner. Yeah.
Yep.
Rhonda said her play of the game has to be the kicker. 53-yard field goal from Max Gilbert. That was pretty sweet. It had the distance to be good from even deeper. He probably a third of the way up the upright, even though the announcer said crossbar on the TV, but it hit the upright, not the crossbar. Let's see. Mr. Jones said same thing, 53-yard doink field goal. We may need a field goal to win it versus Georgia, so that's my play of the game. That's a great point. Yeah.
Did you see the close up of Gilbert? His eyes were like big as oranges when he's watching that go off the upright. He was wanting that pretty bad.
Jonathan said his play of the game would be Jack Van Dorselaer, just because all you've heard from him this offseason, how good of a blocker he's been. So it's great to see him get in the end zone. That's a great choice too. Absolutely. Let's see. Mina Laggy said, I've been joking about taking Brazel's passport as he is a flight risk because he leaves his feet all the time. It's pretty good. Rebel Juice said, he asked her, so that's the question I'm going to ask Reed here in a minute. Let's see. Matt said Starr was his player in the game. Carl said he wants Jackson Ross to run a fake punt. Doesn't care if it's a passer or run, just run a fake punt. Deborah said most highly improbable play was Joey completing that pass to Brazel while being 2/3 on the ground versus taking a tackle for loss. Mahomes like.
That's a good point, Deborah. My great uncle was sitting next to me at the game, and he's got to be in his 80s, and he turned to me immediately and said, "That looked like Mahomes."
That's great. Matt said his favorite play was the Joshua Joseph safety sack. Yeah, I still don't know if that was. I don't know, man. That was Reed. That was right in front of you, wasn't it?
That was my end zone. I'm going to claim that end zone now forever. But yeah, Heifel was running up the sideline, toward where our seats are in the corner there, and he was not happy. And I could almost hear what he was saying to the official, but it looked like a safety from the stands. I never got to see a great replay of it, but
well, in real time, it looked like maybe it was questionable. Like, maybe I don't know, maybe he was outside the end zone, that kind of thing. Then they showed the replay. And it's a situation where if it's his feet, if both feet have to be in the end zone, then it wasn't a safety. But if it's where the ball was in the end zone for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It was dangerously close to being a safety.
It looked to me like Heifel was saying something about the ball, and the line judge or whatever on that side was just like, "No, man, like, not it. Shut up." Don't he was not having it.
When they showed the replay, it was very obvious that the ball was behind the goal line the whole time. It was from the moment he started getting touched to the time he hit the ground, the ball. So unless it's his feet, because both feet weren't behind the goal line, but man, it sure was close. That's for sure. Let's see. Jonathan agreed with your play of the game, Ruston. And Rhonda said RIP to the Gators.
you didn't ask for the play of the Tennessee game, Evan. You asked for the play of the game.
Yeah, I should have qualified it better.
Ruston
That's my fault.
Appropriately.
Mr. Jones said UNL beating UCLA was also a play of the game nominee. Jeff and Carl both liked your plays of the game as well. Rhonda said Oklahoma beating Michigan was sweet as well. It sure was.
Oklahoma looks good.
Yeah, they do.
That's going to be a tough one.
Nolan said play of the game was the boo punt return that he nearly took to the house. Rebel Juice said he had a Gator fan tell him congratulations in advance for beating him at home in November. Apparently, Max Gilbert said that he was thinking about cookies while kicking it because of the.
He actually admitted that he was thinking about the cookies right before he took the leg swing.
I don't know that I would admit that. Like I'm pro honesty, just generally for it, big fan. But I don't know that I would admit that.
Yeah, he's our cookie monster NIL player this year. So he had the fans on his mind. Like, I got to get him some cookies here.
Not only did he admit it in front of the entire media. So everybody got that soundbite.
Mr. Jones said his Mike Matthews bomb touchdown was a play of the game. Let's see. John said, I do think this is the week we see the fake punt unless we score on every drive. David said his favorite was Bishop breaking several tackles for 50 yards. Dude, that was awesome. First possession of the game, second play of the game, I believe. That was an incredible play.
I thought he almost took that to the house as well.
Yeah.
That was very close. That somebody said conversions or what was that? It was a couple sentences ago. But Tennessee is 15 of 15 in the red zone so far this season.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
There's a concern the last couple of years, Tennessee's offense kind of bogging down in the red zone. Now, again, adjust for competition, but really like where Tennessee is right now. 12 touchdowns, too, out of those 15 scores. Definitely been a different feel for the year so far.
That is a good percentage. Sam said the explanation he's heard about the safety / non-safety is the ball just needs to break the very front of the end zone on a touchdown call. Conversely, on a safety, the ball needs to be entirely out of the end zone to not be a safety. Well, if that's the case, then it was 100% a safety.
Yeah, I can't remember if that rule's different in college or the NFL, but that's what I've heard as well, Sam, and I've heard explained. It's breaking the plane going in the end zone. You just have to break the plane to be a touchdown. You have to get all the way out to not be a safety. I've heard that as well, Sam. Looked like a safety from Section P.
Yeah. Well, after the replay, when he began getting touched, the whole ball was in the end zone at that point. Only his left foot and arguably part of his right foot were not in the end zone. So should have been a safety. Jonathan said, Reed, do you think quarterback play has anything to do with the red zone efficiency? Because I do.
Correct. Jonathan, I was looking back at Tennessee's red zone numbers right now because that stat really stuck out to me. Tennessee was second in the SEC in 2022 in red zone efficiency. 67 attempts, 63 scores. Pretty daggum good, just behind Georgia, who was 81 for 83, which is incredible. So, we're talking about Aguilar looking like Hendon Hooker back there, or at least the best that anybody's looked since Hendon Hooker. I don't think that's a coincidence. Just the fact that you can open up your playbook and work all sides and the middle of the field, like you said, Evan, earlier with that throw to Kitzelman. Just it does a lot for you, and the field shrinks in the red zone. Does a ton. So I think those things will translate. I could be wrong, could be way wrong, but I think those will translate against most of your SEC opponents.
Well, speaking of SEC opponents, Reed, our last question for you. So, Ruston and I always do our preview show every Thursday night at 9. Just so everybody knows, this week is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go live on Wednesday night because I have an event I have to be at Thursday night. I won't be home probably anywhere near 9 o'clock. So we are going to do our preview show on Wednesday night this week. So for the 711 people watching across all 3 platforms right now, we hope you join us on Wednesday night as well. Unfortunately, we won't have Reed with us Wednesday night, so we would love to hear his opinion now. Reed, what are your thoughts about this weekend? And, Rebel Jew asked earlier, do you think Carson Beck gives us a better, him leaving gives us a better chance of beating Georgia. What are your thoughts on this weekend's game?
Yeah, great question, Rebel Jew there. Yes, to answer it in one word. I do. Beck looked pretty good against Notre Dame. Has looked good for Miami thus far, completing almost 80% of his passes. Gunnar Stockton's been one of the worst passers in the SEC. I think he's his 14th out of 16 thus far this year. So quarterback's a real area of concern. I think for Georgia, maybe he can beat you with his legs, but he's banged up. Looks like I definitely think that thus far he's been a step back from what Beck has been for Miami. Period. And then two, this is the best I've felt about a Tennessee Georgia game in a long time. I didn't think Tennessee was going to win last year. I didn't. I didn't think they were going to win in 2022 down there. Had a lot of friends trying to talk me into it. They said, guys, I don't see it yet. And it's a combination of things that we talked about earlier, guys, of Tennessee being more athletic across the board and Georgia kind of taking a step back, not being that kind of Saban-like dominant team that they were the last couple of seasons. They were human last year, and Tennessee was in that game in Athens last year. So I think that bodes well too for Tennessee. At the lowest the spread I think has been in a long time for Tennessee Georgia game. I really think it's going to be a battle. I don't expect this to be one of those where Jalen Wright pops off on a big run and the crowd's going nuts, and then Tennessee doesn't do anything the rest of the game. I don't think it's going to be like that, like it was in 2023. And I think you saw Hype and Co. take some steps last year with what they were able to do in Athens against Georgia that will translate, I think, this year. I think maybe you could argue a lot of the formations and the things that he's done and the staff that he's even brought in have been aimed at beating Georgia, because that's the one regular opponent he's not been able to knock off yet. The one puzzle he's not been able to solve. He's got Florida twice, got Bama twice, been competitive with Bama on the road. So I think it's going to be a battle, guys. I'm still in the camp of you got to show me. You got to show me.
Yeah.
I need to see you beat Georgia before I pick you to beat Georgia. It's just how I am. But I'll be there. Excited about going. Taking my buddy Jimmy, who is you guys will be glad to know is 3-0 at Tennessee games. 2022 Bama was his first game. 2023 Texas A&M was his second, and then 2024 Bama was his third game. So undefeated Jimmy is coming in.
Whatever he wore to those 3 games, make sure he's wearing it this Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be a battle. I really think it's going to be the most competitive Tennessee Georgia game that you've seen in a while. And Neyland, if it's tight late, hard place for a road team to win. Really hard place for a road team to win. Georgia has not won a tight game in Neyland in a long time, because there's not been a tight game in Neyland for Georgia in a long time.
That's exactly right. Would not shock me if it's an overtime game, honestly. This weekend would not shock me.
No,
David,
me either.
David has a good question for you here, Reed, or a good comment to what you said. You mentioned that as of right now, Gunnar Stockton is in QBR 14th out of 16 SEC quarterbacks. My math ain't great, but I don't think that's very high on the list. And he said, how bad is it if he's 14th of 16 when their 2 opponents were Marshall and Austin Peay?
Yeah, we're talking about the competition Tennessee's played. Well, Tennessee played a neutral site game against a team that won 10 games last year, and whooped them. And Georgia's played 2 home games against Marshall's coach left, whole new program there essentially, and then against Austin Peay. So it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell what Georgia's got, but you're definitely the least worried you've been. I'm the least worried I've been about their passing attack that I have been in a long time.
Totally agree.
I would feel a lot better if Ricky Gibson had a functioning shoulder.
Agreed. Let's see. Jonathan said, is a Georgia podcast going to be joining us Wednesday? Theoretically, yes, they are. We've already got Alabama and Arkansas lined up, ready to go. I have not gotten the Georgia one totally on board yet, but in the past, they've been like, yeah, let's do it. And now that the rubber's meeting the road, it's not as smooth as it has been in the past. Let's see. Deborah said, how much of the playbook do you think Hype is hiding from Georgia? We've seen so much, and he typically holds back early on. Pretty exciting if there's more to come.
I think they've been pretty vanilla, honestly. I think they're putting those things, like Ruston alluded to earlier, on tape to give Georgia some things to think about. You want them to see some of those wrinkles, right, Ruston? Like you want them to see some of those new formations and personnel groupings, so you can make them prep for those and also work out of those in the game.
Yeah. We haven't shown much play action out of pistol. I'm sure they've got quite a bit of things, whether it be screens to the running backs, screens to the tight ends. They've got some things they can do there that they haven't shown. I think they've put a lot of stuff on tape for the sole purpose of making Georgia miserable, having to cover it all.
And that's something, guys, that we've talked about since you all started this show and had me on the first time was, hey, let's get the running backs involved in the passing game. Finally happening here. And it's been a welcome addition that I think will bow dividends as SEC play starts.
Well, and, like Rustin just said, he mentioned running one play out of the pistol. The only thing we've seen them do out of the pistol so far is they turn around and hand the ball off for a run right up the middle. So there's definitely way more they can be doing out of the pistol than what we've seen so far. This could be a fun weekend for a lot of reasons. Nolan said, ever since 2022 year, I don't think we've had a good enough team to beat them. But this year I got a feeling we're good enough to go toe-to-toe with anyone. I totally agree with that, 100%. Matt loved your preview of the game, Reed. Mr. Jones said, I've never picked against Tennessee. We're going to win every game, or we just ran out of time. We've never lost.
I like that. I'm not undefeated. I'm undefeated. I just ran out of time.
Yeah. Rebel Juice said, definitely feels like 2016. Might be another Hail Mary that wins it. David, this is a fair point. Other than the college football playoff, which wouldn't have been a true road start. This is Gunnar Stockton's first true road start. So that's a very good point.
It's going to be rocking, and Joey Aguilar's played a lot of football, and I think that is shown through on tape so far this season.
Mr. Jones said Joey's Heisman campaign starts this weekend. Matt said he hopes Gunnar gets shell-shocked. Absolutely. Rhonda said, Reed, who do you think may be the most overrated team in the SEC so far?
I can't remember if it was here on the radio that I said headed into the year I wasn't buying the Florida Hype, and now they got beat Saturday, so maybe that take is a little stale, but I didn't think they deserved to be ranked despite ending the year on a run. Really didn't. Ole Miss could be up there. Texas A&M could be up there. Is LSU good, or is Clemson just not good?
That's a fair question.
There are a lot of things, but going into the year, Rhonda, my pick was Florida. I didn't think they had any spot in the top 25. Any business being in it.
Matt said college game day, Checker Neyland, Tennessee versus Georgia. He's going to lose sleep this week for sure. Rebel Juice said Georgia might be the most overrated team in the SEC. I don't know about that.
All right, so let's wait till Saturday night at 7:30 to decide that.
Diesel 80, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, I could care less about 72 points. Beating Georgia is way more important. 100% agree. Yeah. Well, Reed, you're the man. We got 779 people watching right now across all three platforms. 780, 781. It just keeps going up. So we appreciate all of you joining in. We know it is a joy and a privilege anytime Reed joins us. And we know those 783 people are here because Reed is sitting right there. And so we appreciate you so much. Herb said, what's the key to beating Georgia, in our opinion? So Rustin and I will give our answers to that on Wednesday night. Reed, what do you think's the one main thing for Tennessee this weekend?
Georgia's been able to stop the run without loading the box previously. I think Tennessee's got to be able to run the football on some kind of light fronts. Teams that have been able to stop the run with 3-4 man fronts, dropping 7-8 in coverage, have really that's what's done Tennessee's offense in. So I think Tennessee's got to be able to keep Georgia honest with the run game. It starts there for me, and then you can build out from there with don't turn the ball over, kind of classic Maxim things. But Tennessee's got to be able to run the football against that Georgia front. Perennial, one the best front probably in college football in the last 5-6 years. Every year it seems like Georgia has it. So going to be a really big test of that offensive line. I do think some of the things we've talked about scheme wise and with Aguilar are going to help with that, giving Georgia some other things to think about. But got to be able to run the football. It always starts with that in the SEC.
Absolutely. For those who might be wondering, this magazine over my left shoulder right here, that is this year's edition of Football Time in Tennessee magazine. It's got Arion Carter on the cover, and the gentleman that you see in the top left corner of your screen is one of the people who put this together. Reed and his family produce this magazine every year. It is the definitive Tennessee preview magazine, and they got another one coming out soon. Reed, when do you think people can expect to see Basketball Time in Tennessee in their local stores?
Hoping for early October is the goal. I've got to get some writing stuff in this week, so I got some work to do this week. But yeah, it's going to be another big year for basketball. So we're talking a lot about football right now, but my brain's on hoops as well right now.
A lot to be excited about as a Vols fan, right?
A lot. Very, very, very high on this basketball team this year. Not to spoil anything.
Yep.
David said, where can he get that magazine? So on Football Time in Tennessee's website.
Yeah, footballtime.com. We can ship it to you. I don't know about our distribution for South Georgia. Probably used to be in Barnes and Nobles and things all across the Southeast back when those were everywhere. But probably not one there. So you can just order one from footballtime.com and it gets shipped to your house.
Jeff said best magazine ever. Totally agree. Herb said, are you high on the women's team as well?
Correct. We're looking at getting season tickets and taking my daughters to a bunch of the ladies' games this year because I think they're going to have a really good product again.
Putting some points on the board, that's for sure. Rebel Jew said, so now we got to do a Baseball Time in Tennessee magazine.
If I had more hours in the day, Rebel Jew, we would do it. You give me a great show. Time warp, I'll do it.
Jeff said, great show. As always, guys, can't wait. Hey, man, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining us every week. Rhonda said, thanks, Reed, for your input. Thanks, bros. Congratulations again on your success and future shows. Hey, we appreciate you so much. And Reed, seriously, man, we appreciate you too.
Hey, guys, congrats on 250. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of shows. That's something to be proud of and happy to be a part of. I don't know, 10 of them or something so far. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. It is a joy for us. But we get to have Reed join us almost every month. Typically it's about 10 or 11 shows a year, and it's wonderful. And so we so appreciate him. Deborah also said, thank you for coming on, Reed. It's always great to have you. Totally agree. Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. Oh, Matt said, never got your email. Yeah, I forgot to send it. That's my fault. I'll do it before I go to bed tonight. Let's see. Nolan said, great show, guys. Watch it from the start. Love y'all show. Appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Let's see here. Okay. I think we're good. Mr. Osborne said, excellent show, Vol Bros. Appreciate you. Thank you, Reed. Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, we appreciate all of you all so much. Thank you for joining us. Thanks again to Reed. We hope all of you join us as we start on episode 251 on Wednesday night. So our next 250 episodes. Reed is going to be Volbro's celebrity guest picker. There you go. He's getting a call this week. He'll be on game day this week.
I have been on the game day set, but just to photograph it back in 2012 when Tennessee lost to Florida.
Jonathan said he makes a motion to make Reed permanent member, even if we have to kidnap him. Let's see. David, appreciate you, buddy.
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
my head is
pounding. Yeah, Rustin's not feeling it. Rustin's playing injured tonight. He's got a sinus infection, so
it's going around, bud. I was I could not have done this show last Sunday. I still, you can hear it.
These AirPods are like, my head is about to explode.
Well, we appreciate all of you, 784 people. Y'all are awesome. We hope all of you have a great evening. Go Vols, baby. And we will see all of you very, very soon. Have a great evening, everybody.